for coming. I know it was a busy night for civic engagement and vote, so we appreciate you coming out to another meeting at 7 tonight. I'm Caitlin Canage. I'm the proud director of the Baker Free Library. And so I'm just going to go over some of the logistics of the night, and then I'm going to turn it over to Jack Chris, who's doing our moderating tonight. So thank you, Jack, for being here and doing that for us. And then before I get started, I also want to thank Lauren for helping. She's our marketing librarian here at Baker Free and does a lot to help put on this event. So thank you, Jack. Thank you, Lauren. Thank you, candidates, for all coming out tonight. Okay, couple of housekeeping items. Exits are obviously out here. The fastest exit is actually out to the left. It takes you right out to the parking lot. Restrooms are over here, the first immediate left, out the door on the left. A couple of notes about recording. We're recording, but it's not live streamed. So we're a little old school. This microphone is going into the laptop, and if we do this correctly, people should be able to go on YouTube and click the little CC closed captioning button, and it will closed caption everything everybody said. This is coming out here for the people present in the room right now. So if you're speaking and you speak behind the podium, you'll catch both. So that would be preferred to stand behind the podium. Let's see. The video will be available on our YouTube station, which you can find on our website. So if you go to our website, click on the YouTube link, and you'll get the recording of tonight. And that should be ready in a few days. Let's see, what else? Jack is going to introduce the candidates tonight alphabetically by whichever committee or board you're running for, and then alphabetically from there if there's more than one person running. It'll be a 5-minute introduction where you can come up and just introduce yourself you have up to 5 minutes. I'm gonna keep time, and when you're at halfway, 2.5 minutes, I'll hold up like a yellow piece of paper just for a little halfway warning, and then red means you have 30 seconds. Wrap it up. And then after everybody's had their 5 minutes to introduce themselves, we'll take a little intermission. After intermission, we'll do a Q&A session. Everybody at your chair, you had a piece of paper where you can write down questions as they come to you. If there's empty chairs, feel free to steal their paper too and fill out more questions. You just need to fill out the top part is who you're directing your question to, which candidate. You can list one or more, and then the actual question. And then as we're doing our intermission, you can just kind of pile them on the table for the moderator, and he'll go through all of those. If you need a writing implement, there's some up here at the front, and then there's pens and pencils out in the cafe that you can use during intermission as well. So then we'll do that, and then we'll be done. That will be the night. So does that sound good? Anybody have questions? We good? Yeah, absolutely. So I think we will start. Oh, we didn't put the flag out. Do you want to grab the flag?
I would love to.
Yeah. So we're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. And then, Jack, you can take it over from there.
Excellent.
Does that sound good? So if everybody can just rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Right.
All right. We are following alphabetical order tonight, both in terms of the office and the candidates. And that means we're starting with the Budget Committee, which is going to be the most interesting race of all because it's, I think, the only one where there's really contested positions. And if we are doing this alphabetically, the first candidate to speak in connection with the Budget Committee is going to be our former selectman, Harry Judd.
Yes, you're right. Jack.
Thanks, Jack.
Now.
See, okay, you said the quiz was whether we could read, didn't mean I could recite the alphabet. Last time I had to, there was this cop on the side. Oh, never mind. Okay. Good evening. My name's Harry Judd. Thank you all for being here. I also want to thank the library for again sponsoring these evenings. This facility is a great example of how the town comes together and what we do together. As was mentioned, I was a selectman for 18 years. I've been volunteering on boards and commissions in this town since 2000. In that time, I've served on the budget committee before, planning board, etc. And with that, I have solid grounding of what our town needs and how we put together budgets. I also am a small business owner, so I know what it means to have to make a budget, hold to a budget. As I grew up in a family business, and my dad always said, if you take care of the nickels and dimes, the dollars take care of themselves. So we are
Pennies, take care of the pennies.
the pennies, but we're doing away with pennies. Come on, Bob. No more pennies. We are fortunate here in New Hampshire because we still have the true purest form of democracy. And that's the town meeting and the school district meeting process. But here with the budget committee, the process we have is our officials, our professionals in the town propose a budget for their departments to the town manager, who then proposes it to the selectmen, or select board women as well, and then they propose it to the budget committee. And the same process is followed by the schools. It's then the budget committee that goes through line by line and looks for meeting our needs. And that's really what it comes down to. It's dealing with addressing our needs and looking at the things that are discretionary and sorting through those as to what are the nice to have and what are the things that we should have. And that's what is done by the school board, what's done by the board of selectmen, and that's what's done by the budget committee. And then it's the budget committee's budget that goes before the respective bodies. And this is where the true pure democracy comes in, because every voter in town has the right to go to the meeting and decide how we're going to spend our money. Are we going to buy a fire truck? Are we going to have lights on the athletic fields? And with the budget committee, you have volunteers who come together and provide their expertise. And I'd like to do that again because I do think I have something to offer. So the real hard truth here, thank you, is things have changed in New Hampshire. And it's been 20 years since the state Supreme Court said we're not getting adequate funding for our schools, and it's only gotten worse. It's been 14 years since there's been the start of downshifting to the school district and to the town, of cutting out the support for retirement for our emergency response personnel. And nobody's coming to save us. We have to do this ourselves. We have to meet our local obligation. And, you know, we're in the 21st century. In the 19th century, a home was never taxed. And now we have a cram down on all of us. We, the residential taxpayers, are footing the bill. So we have to make sure that every dollar that goes into the tax bill is well spent. In the case of the town, when we need fire trucks and we need ambulances and we need to pave the roads and we need to plan. And I will also say we have a very robust CIP, capital improvement plan. We don't borrow money when we don't have to. I just noticed that Concord just borrowed $1.5 million to buy a fire truck. Now you think about what the interest is on $1.5 million. We don't do that. So we guard every one of your dollars and we use it wisely. And I'd like the opportunity to sit on your planning board again, or strike that, on your budget committee and have my opportunity to work with the budget again. Thank you.
Thank you. Apropos of what Harry just said, I was at a Redmond Center over at the law school before I came here that was having a presentation on state constitutions. And as Eric may know, New Hampshire, despite what Massachusetts says, has the oldest constitution, or had the first constitution in the United States. 1776. Our Constitution that we have today was adopted in 1984, and that's second oldest now because Massachusetts came in there first before us. So we are a very lucky state to be as democratic as we are. Next is alphabetically William Knapp.
Tough act to follow up. I want to start by thanking again the library and everybody else for coming out tonight. For those that don't know me, I'm Bill Knapp. I'm a 10th generation resident of the town of Bow. My family's been here a long time. Throughout the years, they've helped to build this town. I'd like to keep going with that commitment to make the town a better place. I have 3 kids in the school district right now, so the school is very important to me, and the budget's very important to me for the schools. On the professional side, I currently am the COO for a small chain of retail stores. We have 3 brick and mortar locations and an online store. I deal with the budgets daily for those. And it's my job to find the waste and to cut it and to make sure that we have the money to pay for the expenditures that we absolutely need. For the last 3 years, I think I've taken that expertise and put it to work for the budget committee, and I'd like to do it again. And so I ask for your vote. Thank you.
Alphabetically, our next candidate is Robert Mike Mayo, but I don't think he's here. In which case, we'll move on to Van Mosher.
Good evening, everybody, and once again, thanks to the library, thanks to the people of Bow, and all of you turning out tonight. I'm here. I have 40 years residency here in the town of Bow. Kind of like Harry, I've been on a lot of boards. The president of the Bow Men's Club, secretary to Bow Little League, also softball coordinator, and longtime umpire for the town of Bow. Just love it. I love girls sports, and I will be a fighter for girls sports until the day I die. I have 4 wonderful children that went through the Bow school system. They all did fantastic, much better than I did when I was a student in high school. And then when they get out of college, when they go to college, they did even better than that. So I'm a proud dad, but being a parent of college students, college education, as a lot of people know, is super expensive. And I helped out my girls a lot. So right now, financially, I'm okay. I just retired. I'm retiring without debt, but I just paid off a lot of Parent Plus student loans. So when I got my property tax bill, a little shocked, and I'm hearing a lot of people around town are kind of shocked with their property tax bill. So I want to be motivated, take my talents as being a quality engineer with a 6 Sigma black belt and a green belt in lean, which means you're looking at ways of finding better ways of doing things. Put creativity before capital. Address the needs of the town. And there's some really good needs, like the library, like the school system, like fire engines. But there's some things that that are on the warrant articles there, like maybe bleachers, the football stadium, that if that money went back to the taxpayers, it would take a little bit of sweat off the taxpayers' back. So I'm here really being a voice for people who are retired, young couples that come to town, anybody who saw, somebody actually told me at the budget committee hearing a few weeks ago that their property taxes went up 40%. And that's kind of shocking too. Mine didn't go up that much, but there was sticker shock. So I'm kind of concerned about people. I want to make sure that they're comfortable in the town. We get quality services from the town, from the school, and that's why I'm running. And thank you. I appreciate your vote, and thank you for coming out tonight.
Following the alphabet, now we move on to the library trustee. We have one candidate and an experienced incumbent.
I'm experienced, all right. I've been your chair of the library trustee for, I think it's 6 years. I took over for Bennett when Bennett became ill. I'm very proud of our library. I think we've done a great job. I got involved when we had to take down the trees in the front because they were a danger to the building collapse, falling on the building, which disappointed a lot of people. But I think what we opened up has become a nice area for the library. It allows the children to go outside and do some events and things like that. So, we've only got so much space to work with. And we hired a fantastic director who manages a great staff that we've had. And a lot of our staff has been here a long time, and they do a great job. I got involved with Bo I grew up on 299 South Street, so I grew up like 6 houses in the Concord side. And my dad always got kidded by a Bow resident on how low his taxes were compared to my dad's. And of course, we had the goose that laid the golden egg for a long time with the public service. But we've had to make a lot of adjustments. And that's when I was on the budget committee is when we had to make a lot of those adjustments. So I thought coming to the library trustee, this will be a piece of cake. We lose our director and we take down trees and move monuments and things like that. So it's been an interesting ride, but I'm very proud of our library. And I'm echoing Harry's comments in that more people need to get involved with our town politics. When someone stands up at our meetings and said, let's just cut 10% off the budget, they don't know what's going on. They haven't sat in those meetings and seen all the numbers that all of our town officials and school officials go through to try to make a number as low as they can make that number be. And they really need to sit in those seats to see that we're not spending money frivolously in this town. And it's neat to see so many people here. I wish we were filling the school auditorium with people seeing something like this. And so many people go to the town meeting, they don't go to the school meeting because they're on 1 week, which I've always been against. I think one meeting should be 1 week and one meeting should be another week. I think to ask people to go Tuesday, and it might be something that goes on for a long time, and then they got to go Friday night. And if you're a working man, Friday night there's no school the next day. And those are nights that I know with my wife, those are nights that we do stuff together. So I'd love to see our meetings be 2 weeks apart and maybe get more participation. But we've got a great town, and I'm going to suggest that you write in Jack Crisp instead of voting for me.
He thinks I don't spend enough time with.
I talked his wife into being a trustee, so that's our little joke. So anyways, yeah, nice to be here with you guys, though.
Thank you, Bob. I've had the pleasure of getting to know your brother in the last.
That's right.
Next is school board. We have 2 positions and we have 2 candidates. Again, alphabetically, Martin, Mosher, you're up first.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Martin Osterloh. I'm your current school board representative, and I have been for the last 6 years. And this last year, I've also acted as chair. Over the last 6 years in the school board, it's been a wild ride. I started on a school board the day the governor shut down all schools during COVID. You may remember that. It seems like a lifetime ago, but it was wild operating a school under unknown conditions, yellow and green mode, and masking, no masking. It was a wild time. The last 3 years on the board, I've also served as the representative to the budget committee. So I'm very familiar with the budgeting process, and I echo everyone's sentiments here. The consideration that the budget committee applies every year, coming up with a budget that works for the town and that works for the school. It's really fascinating to see this at play, making sure that every dollar that we put in the operating budget is spent wisely, that we really truly only appropriate what we need. That's been a really rewarding process. I've also over the last 3 years, I believe it's been 3 annual meetings ago, the town has made a clear statement to the school, start up a CIP, start putting money away. So another school board member and I, we went through every school, elementary school, middle school, high school, opened every door and made a giant spreadsheet of all the things that need to be replaced from now until the next 100 years. And it's everything was on the website. And we made this process so that we can save a fixed amount every year, so we don't ever have to borrow money again. And I think that's been super successful. I've been super happy with the results of it. And public education is under fire these days. It's going to be a wild ride going forward. But I truly enjoy the work that we've done so far, and I'm really looking forward, if you vote for me again, going forward. And yeah, happy to be here. Thanks, guys.
Next, our second candidate for the school board, Margie Borawska-Popielarz.
Very good. Oh, Populars. Yes, you passed the test.
I had help.
Oh, that's wonderful. Good evening. So I'm Margie Borawska-Popielarz. I am a mom of 2 children and a dog, but the dog doesn't go to school. And I'm running for school board. So I have a 3rd grader and I have a sophomore at the high school. I've been a town resident, 17 years. And it was actually when my daughter was born that we lived in a different town. And I looked at my husband, I said, we need to look for a town to settle in. And of course, when we looked around, guess what? Bow was the choice. And it was because of the schools, right? A lovely town, but really schools was what sort of pulled us here. And we've really enjoyed being part of the town. I really appreciate all the activities that are happening through Bow Athletic Club, through the library. This stage reminds me of all the wonderful things that I would drag my children here and, they would enjoy the animals and the books and everything else that goes around. So we've really, really enjoyed being in Bow as a family. Professionally, I'm a school psychologist. I've been in the profession for 20 years. I work at Concord. I have a doctorate in educational psychology, and then I have some specialization in neuropsychology. And honestly, I've been a passionate educator, if you will, in many different avenues. I also teach as an adjunct at a higher ed institution, so it's really nice to see for me. Currently, I'm at the high school, seeing sort of the progression of the transition, and then, meeting not my students, but other young people who are going through college experiences and so on and so forth. So really my hope to ask for your votes is to continue with the great work that the school board has been doing to promote really the resiliency in young people and to figure that out in a way that we can not just catch up, but stay ahead of the changes that our young people are faced with and our families. Speaking of the tax bills, yes, I was a little bit like, ooh, right? But on the other hand, we do want to provide what we need to by law, but also to support our young people. So I look forward to your questions and hopefully your votes, and we'll go from there.
Going alphabetically, next would be the school moderator, Bryce Larrabee, but I don't see Bryce there. And he's running unopposed, so I guess he's not with us tonight. Following that would be Selectman Alina Colby. She is homesick, so she is not able to be with us tonight, and she is running unopposed. That brings us to Supervisor of the Checklist. Kate? No? Okay, be a short night. Town Moderator, Peter Imse. And maybe you can tell us why we have meetings twice in the same week.
I'm not going to touch that. No.
Already complained to him.
That's right, yes. My wife Deb and I were comparing our calendars this morning, and when I mentioned I had candidates night tonight, she said, "Did you really file again?"
At least you filed this year.
Yes, I did. I did remember. Yes, I have filed. Yes, I'd love to be your moderator again for another 2 years. It's been an honor serving the town all these years, and I'd love to have a chance to do it again, and would love to have you vote for me. While I've got the podium, I thought I would use, the opportunity. One of the questions we were asked is what new things might we do, and there's not a lot of flexibility in life of a moderator, but in fact, we do have two things I can announce. Some of you may know this already, but we'll be embracing two new types of technology in our voting, starting with March town meeting. We'll be using what they call poll pads to check you in when you come to vote, instead of having the checkers, strike the line in the book as you come in the door. We'll have things that look like small iPads. They'll be able to call up your information instantly. The pads will be connected, so we won't have to divide you by alphabet, and you can just go to whatever line has an empty slot right now. If you have your driver's license, the device will scan your license and bring your data up right away. The hope is, and the experience with other towns that have used these already, is it really streamlines the process in getting the voters through, but it also helps us tremendously at the end of the day with some of the reports we have to put together and the data we have to collect. The second new technology we'll be using is we'll have new, what we call ballot tabulators. We don't call them voting machines because they don't, you don't have the levers and the pulls, but, the machine where you're going to slide your ballot and count your ballot will be moving into the modern age. The machines we've been using are 25, 30 years old, and we have two machines that were approved by the Secretary of State. We picked one of them for Bo. Again, it should be a much smoother voting process, and at the end of the night, it has capability to prepare reports and some of the supporting reports and things that we have to file with the Secretary of State on a much more expedited basis, which will allow us all to go home more quickly at the end of the night, which will be wonderful. So with that, don't forget to vote in March and see our new toys. And don't forget to vote for me, please.
Our last candidate, I'm guessing is not here as well, and that's trustee of the trust funds, Kate Young. And that's it for the until we get to questions. So we're having an intermission, and it is for
15 minutes.
15 minutes. If you haven't found your seat, you will either not be here to answer the question, or you won't get to hear the answer. This is a question for, I think it's for all the select board and budget committee candidates. And since we only have budget committee candidates here, why is the R&C money no commingled with town revenues? I don't understand that question. Whoever asked that question.
What's the acronym again?
R&C.
R&C.
Yeah. The person who wrote that question is here, and they,
What's the question?
why is the, well, maybe it's rec.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Yeah. Doesn't look like an E, but maybe that's what
It's rec.
Yeah, what's the
Okay.
question?
Why is the rec money no commingled with town revenues? I guess that's not right.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
All right, who wants to take a stab at that?
Yeah, I did it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know the answer to it.
I know, you were on the board with me when that was set up, so maybe you should answer. Okay. The reason is that there was, once upon a time, the rec department was, all of the expenses of the rec department were in the town budget. And, well, Eric, you were there too when we did this. And we set up basically a revolving fund. So as revenues come in from all the rec programs, they are designated for the rec program to support the rec program, and therefore it's not drawing from the rest of the town budget to support the rec program, which serves one part of our community, but not all of the community. That's the Cliff Notes version of why it was set up that way.
I'm happy with the answer.
Do you feel that it should be any different?
No.
Okay. Part two. How do you feel about giving the town manager what amounts to a $175,000 slush fund? I have no idea what that's about.
I do.
Okay.
It was just in the bow times that the town manager is gonna be on a warrant article. To give the town manager $175,000 to study the.
You didn't go last time. Why don't you go
Sure.
this
Okay.
time?
I think this is. Okay.
Just the mic.
Yeah. I'm assuming this is in reference to the also to the rec revolving fund, correct? That he has access to expend that money. I think he's made it fairly clear that he's not going to expend that money without the select board and the town's vote on that. So yeah.
Follow up on that?
The town manager, under our form of government, and this is in it's a statutory position. He has authorities to do things. However, all three of the town managers we've ever had are, while understanding their authority, have always gone to the Board of Selectmen to consult with them and where appropriate to get their approval. And the town manager can hire a police chief, never even tell the Board of Selectmen if he chose to. Be foolish, and he wouldn't do it. So those expenditures, likewise, he does go, to my understanding, now I am no longer on the Board of Selectmen, but when I was, the town manager would come to us and say, these are the expenditures we're going to make from the rec fund to fund the rec program, again, so that it doesn't come out of the general fund. So does he have the authority? Yes, it's statutory, but as a matter of working together in the town, he does go to the Board of Selectmen to get their agreement on it. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is for selectmen, and we don't have any here, so I'm going to pass that one on. The next one is for,
We do actually, we have a selectman here. He is.
he's not a candidate.
No, that's true.
We won't put him on the spot.
All right.
Thank you. And this is for all budget, all select, all school. I have a feeling these questions are all coming from the same person.
Yeah, they probably are.
Yeah. What are you willing, I guess, to sacrifice to keep the school budget from spiking every cycle? I'm going to start with our select board candidates. School board candidate.
You have experience.
What are we willing to sacrifice? I think I will never sacrifice the level of education. So this year has been tough in terms of budgeting. We've worked really diligently with the budget committee to come to an agreement on the budget that we can all support. And we've made some really hard cuts. Where we drew the line as a school board, and I think the budget committee was supportive, was we don't ever want to offer less education in a following year. So when we affect the quality of education that a child receives in our school district, we don't ever want this to go down. So we never will increase class sizes to 25, 26 kindergartners. That would be crazy. Everyone would suffer through that. Where we have found common ground where we can negotiate is the CIP, for example. The school board ideally would always want to put $1 million in the CIP to take care of the projects that we need from year to year to year. In negotiating with the budget committee, often that amount varies. This year it is $700,000. Last year was $750,000. So I think that's a ground where we can negotiate on. But I'm unwilling to concede on any of the level of education that our children expect.
What is it? Answer the question.
And the question is, what I would be willing to sacrifice or not
Yes.
sacrifice?
What you
Willing.
willing to say?
So I'm going to start with what I wouldn't sacrifice, and that would be really just exactly what Martin said, sort of quality of education to our children. But also, I wouldn't want to create a morale for the staff where they don't feel supported. What I am willing to consider is, do we need new books every year, right? Do we need new iPads, new Chromebooks, new so on and so forth? And not to say that you prolong that to the point where you don't have infrastructure for it, but really looking at how can we make systemic changes to how we deliver curriculum. And honestly, children do not learn from Chromebooks, in my opinion. They learn from the people that they work with. So I would be looking not at the day-to-day interactions or the staff that's working with children. I would be looking more at what can we make happen that would be small cuts, if you will, but when you add them together, you have a bigger number to work with.
Van, this is a question for you. You have mentioned the increase in property taxes.
Yes.
What are your feelings about expansion of education freedom accounts as well as the elimination of interest and dividends tax, plus decrease of business taxes, all of which increase each town's property tax rates?
Once again, I'm a local control person. I would not like to see any increases in any peripheral taxes like income tax or the taxes that you just mentioned. So
This question relates to the cuts that the legislature has made in the last few years in those.
our state legislature?
Yeah. They cut interest and dividends, and they cut the business profits tax, which is why there's less revenue,
And business enterprise.
and business enterprise.
So once again, local control. So we have representatives that deal with that issue. So that's a totally different branch. We're discussing tonight local control. So I would focus on how we deal with what we can do within the town of Bow. We have state representatives that may have disagreed with every single one of those cuts representing Bow. So are you suggesting that we should elect somebody different than those?
It's not my question.
So the question
The
is,
question is specifically, you said you are concerned about an increase in property taxes.
Right.
Which is understandable.
and I'm running for budget committee
Right. But
to
the
do what
question
I
is-
can do as a budget committee member to do that.
Right.
If I was running as a state legislature, I would be addressing those issues right there, and I'm not running for that office.
Okay. Do you have any comment at all about the expansion of education freedom accounts?
I don't know what that is.
That's where we give taxpayers money and they take their children to some other school. They take them to a charter school or they homeschool.
Well, I think, as a lot of people discussed right here, is the town of Bow is a magnet for kids that are not, kids and parents who are not satisfied with their school district. And I know that the kids from Dunbarton, the kids from Hooksett coming to us, help us with regards to so I welcome somebody who would like to attend Bow School and add to our community. So I think that would be a very good thing.
Okay. Mr. Knapp, this question is for you. Usually, a personal budget begins with a sum which is then allocated on a priority basis. How would you feel about setting the mill levy first, then develop a budget based on what it is deemed by the town, that the town can afford?
I'm not sure I understand the question.
Well, I guess if I understand the question, it's saying you start the budget process by coming up with a total number that you're gonna tax people for, and then you go from there to figure out.
Well, I think in the budget process, we come up with, it starts with the department heads who come up with what they need in order to keep the town and the schools running the way they're supposed to. We take their list. Those lists then go to the superintendent for the schools and to the town manager. He makes his cuts. Budget committee make the select board and school board make their cuts. Then it comes to us. We make cuts. We're not taking the amount that we want to tax people and deciding how to spend it. We're deciding the needs that we have and deciding how to meet those needs in the town and the schools.
Okay, so I guess you're saying you think that method makes more sense than picking a number and then going back.
Oh, absolutely. We can't just pick a number out of thin air and then decide what we're gonna do with the money. We need to make sure that all the needs are met.
Martin, this is for you. What is your level of commitment to a classical education, given the intellectual competition our children face from their global counterparts?
I'm not sure if the school board should get involved in that. The role of the school board is really to set a budget, to make policy, and evaluate the superintendent. Now, obviously, we influence other parts too, but I 100% trust our superintendent and her staff in each of the buildings to come up with a curriculum and deliver a curriculum that really speaks to our children, that enables our children to go out and be successful people. So, I'm also not an educator. I'm going to be honest with you when I say that I'm a scientist by trade. You don't want me to develop curriculums and tell you this curriculum is better than that curriculum. That is not my forte.
Fair enough. Margie, how do you anticipate navigating open enrollment?
Well, interestingly, Martin and I just had a conversation about this during the intermission. So I think for me, I'm going to say good news is that the state needs to figure out its thing, right, at the state level. And I understand that today the school board has voted 0 in, 0 out for the time being, so for a year. Depending on really how the state decides to support, fund, and what parameters are going to put in place, that's really the bridge that we will have to cross. I am a strong believer in community schools. As I mentioned before, I work in a school, and my children go to schools. And what a school community provides for children in a town is something truly special, and I believe in that. Now, if there is requirements set by the state that we have to open it up both ways or however that works, I think we'll navigate that while keeping that in mind, right? Welcoming students, but also allowing students to go out. Again, if that's where the sort of pendulum swings. I do think, however, that it's important to remember the equitable part for young people and for families. And that is the piece that I think will be needing a lot of discussion, and again, as the parameters are set at the state level, to navigate that and figure that out.
Thank you. Martin, this questioner had the same question for you.
Open enrollment is a huge mess right now, so that's why the school board currently voted 0 students in, 0 students out, do not appropriate any money, because we just don't know what the landscape will be next week. Universal open enrollment may pass next week or next year. We don't know. It's going to come back in one form or the other, and we will have to deal with it. But agreed that if you take the control of which kid goes where away from local towns, from local school boards, then the state has to step up, and the state has to provide a better framework to figure out who pays for what, who pays for transportation, who covers the cost of special education. There are so many questions out there that we just don't have answers to, and really has to be dealt with at the state level.
Harry, the last 2 questions have your name on.
Okay.
What motivated you to run for the budget committee now? What changes are you seeking?
Well, I thought it was time I finally get involved in town. Some people I respect asked me to step forward and put my name on the ballot because of my background in the town, my knowledge about how our budgets are built. And frankly, one of them said, you built your own business, you know what it takes. I have served on the budget committee. I was trying to figure out the other day how many years. I think it was someplace around 10, when, Jack, you wouldn't do it.
I did it for 9, Harry.
Yes. Exactly. And Eric was probably on for 20. So, we all give something back to town. We all should. And we try to instill that in our kids too, wherever they land as well, because that's what pulls us all together. And I would like to do it again because I think I do know what the town needs. I will say candidly, I know more about what the town needs and what the school district needs, but I do know enough about the school district because having sat on the budget committee, I know there's a tremendous amount of their budget that is non-discretionary. Special ed is a huge number. And we, by law, by federal law and state law, we have to provide it. And that's just one example. It's a core figure. And this is the difference between discretionary monies and mandatory monies. And I would focus on, as I said before, the discretionary ones. The difference between what are the nice to have versus what are going to build either a better town or a better school. Thank
You
you.
might as well stay there. Cost? Cost increases have outpaced wage increases for decades. What is your strategy for embracing the same austerity the taxpayers now face? I will say, according to NPR, currently, wages are going up at the same pace as inflation. But I don't know. how long
But it
lasts.
fair enough, but it hasn't always been that way. And again, I'll speak to the town budget more so than in my experience there than on the school side. There were many years when we all served on the board together where the cost of living increase that we provided to our employees did not exceed the rate of inflation. We had many challenges that we had to face. When Mary Beth and I moved to town, the power plant was about 83% of our tax base. It's now under 1%. And that glide path had to be accounted for. We needed to make adjustments. We needed to change. We haven't been as successful as the town wanted to in building up a commercial district so that we would have commercial taxes paid to offset residential. They're still working at it. We'll get there one day, I hope. So it's always a balance of what employees are paid, but it's also the whole package. And again, I'm a small business owner and I have employees, and we look at the entire package, the health insurance, which is valuable, the retirement fund, which is valuable. Not everybody looks at that when they get that paycheck and what's left at the end of the week, but that's what the town does. I imagine that's what the school does when they are trying to balance providing a living wage to employees, and more than that, I would hope, but at the same time balancing the impact it has on all of us who end up paying the taxes. Another? Is that it?
That's it.
Okay.
That's all the questions we have. So, thank you all for coming. Thank all of our candidates for answering the questions.